Hi students, today we're going to learn how to use black and white charcoal to shade on colored paper. So you'll need a few supplies. You need a piece of paper that has some kind of tint to it. You will need a black and white charcoal pencil. You will need some paper towel, some vine charcoal, oops, there it goes, a blending stump, some sort of eraser, and a picture of a duck. And I do have a copy of this duck in Canvas. You can download it or look at it on the screen. Now before you get started, we're going to just quickly practice using the supplies to create a value scale. If you only have one piece of colored paper, you don't want to do it on that. You could find just a piece of cardboard to practice this, and that would be fine. So we're going to start with our whites, creating our value scale. So you're going to take your white charcoal pencil and shade pretty heavily. You want to make it nice and white. Then start fading it out and see if you can fade it with less and less pressure until you're about to the color of whatever paper that you're working on. This is going to be one of the values in your picture, so you're just going to leave that and then pick up your vine charcoal and start shading and see if you can create kind of a very, very, very light gray with the vine charcoal, allowing just the paper to show in between. And then take your charcoal pencil and do some very light hatching, and then see if you can build it darker and darker and darker so that you end up with kind of a nice range of different values. And this is how working with the colored paper works. It's very important that you don't mix your black and white charcoal together. You get a weird kind of icky gray. It's better to just let the color of the paper show through and make that one of your middle values. All right, we're going to start working with the duck. I don't want you to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to make all the shapes perfect. We're just really focusing on our shading, and I chose a duck because it's pretty simple. You can start with a just a basic oval shape for the main part of the head. And I notice that I'm using the vine charcoal and not the compressed charcoal pencil. That's because this erases much more easily. Just swoop it out for the shape of the bill. And then next you can draw a small amount of the body if you want to. So you can just bring that down a bit. And again, I'm not too worried about accuracy on this part as far as getting the shapes in the right spot. I'm really more interested in having you focus on the lights and darks. Eyes about right there, and then we've got a little mark on the bill here and there. So I've just done just a basic gesture drawing using the vine charcoal. Next up, we're going to start working with our medium values. So I'm looking at the areas where I have kind of a light gray happening, so that's happening through here, and I want to use my vine charcoal for that. To do this, I want to be able to use it on its side. This piece is too big, so I'm going to break it so I have a small piece. I'm going to smooth it out onto my paper towel to make sure I've got a nice smooth edge to it. And then I'm going to study the photograph closely and just place those values where it seems like it's a little bit darker than the paper. It kind of gets darker around the eye, kind of up across the top here, and the back of the head over this way. And then down through this part underneath, so kind of under the neck. And I'm going to skip that place where I've got the white band and just bring it right down to the bottom. So I've just kind of basically blocked out my darker grays. I think I'm going to put just a little bit up through the back here as well. Okay, now once I have that placed, I can then take my paper towel, fold it into a smaller shape so I have something that's easy to control with my finger. And notice I'm going in a kind of a circular motion, and I'm just going to blend that out. Careful on the edges so I don't make a big smeary mess. Try not to use your blending stump for this part because you're just going to make it blotchy and wear it out. You want to save that for little teeny areas later on. This is just sort of a general sort of blocking out thing, so we don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, so once you have the vine charcoal placed, let's go ahead and work into our light values. So I'm going to take some of this vine charcoal that I have from smearing, and I'm just going to kind of push it up into here a bit, so I've got kind of a softer edge and more of a gradual change between the lights and the darks. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to, I would like to start drawing in with my white charcoal pencil and building up some of the texture that I see here. Before I do that though, I don't want to mix the black and white charcoal, so I'm going to take my cube eraser and just erase back some of that texture. The reason I chose this duck picture is because it does have all of those feathers, and it's nice to learn how to do texture with the charcoal. So I've kind of erased out some of that. I think I'll do the same thing down here, just erasing little bits of texture through the vine charcoal. Okay, now I do have some eraser crumbs. I don't want to just smear across with my hands, so I'm just going to pick it up and kind of shake and tap and blow on it to get rid of the crumbs. Next up, we're going to pick up our white charcoal pencil. As I'm working, I do want to put a piece of paper towel under my hand so I'm not smearing all of this, because I'm kind of working up here at the top. And I'm looking for my lighter values. I see a bit of a highlight on the eye, so I'm going to place that. I do see some little bits of lighter texture happening. This is really important that you do that erasing first so that you're not mixing those light and dark values together. So I'm just kind of picking up where it seems lighter to me. I keep looking back at the picture. And this isn't super light, so this is not our white. That's going to be for our bill. We're kind of working in this area of our value scale. I have more light at the top, so I need to erase that back. And then I can come in with just a little bit more white happening up here. Okay, so once you have that white texture placed in on the head, you can move over to some of your other areas, like the bill here. This has quite a bit of white, so that might take a bit of shading to get that all worked out. I'm pushing pretty hard on this part. If you find that you've used too much of your white and you need to sharpen your pencil, this sharpens in a regular pencil sharpener. You have to be kind of careful. If you push too hard, it'll break off, and that's normal, that happens. But yeah, it is designed that you can put it into a regular sharpener. And let's see, getting pretty close here. Once I have the bill done, I'm going to look to see if there's some other areas. I'm not going to do all of the duck, I'm just going to work on this front part. And if you're enjoying this, you can keep working on it and just going to work through it. Looks like we've got kind of like, comes down through there. Okay, so once I'm finished with my white charcoal, the next thing I'm going to do is to switch to my black charcoal pencil. So I'm going to come in with this one and really focus on some of the details that I see. The bottom part of the eyeball is quite dark, so I'm going to put that in with this. You can see how much darker that is than the vine charcoal. Also underneath here, I've got kind of a more of a dark shape running back through here. And I can put some of the texture, like I did with the white lines, I can put some texture lines in with the black as well, so I can start building up a much darker texture there. It's really quite dark in front of the eye, so I'll place that as well. Also underneath here, underneath the neck, it gets pretty dark, so I'm just drawing a line in. Please remember what we've learned about hatching and how you want your lines that you're laying down, both with blending and with hatching. Have it follow the shape. Whatever shape it is that you're trying to draw, you want to be able to put those in. Okay, now that I'm working on the back, I'm moving my paper towel over so that I don't smear all of that other work that I just did. And I'm just looking around and trying to get those really dark, nice dark values that are happening in the back. I'm going to put some white back here. I want to erase carefully before I do that, so I don't end up with a weird gray. All right, and there's our assignment for this week. I hope you enjoy doing this, and thank you very much for watching.